A story as old as time itself. Western game exists. Woke activists instantaneously tried to subvert it, destroy it, or claim that it was actually always their thing. Man, I wish we had less stories like this.
There are so many amazing games out there that are altered by localizers who just want to push politics into every project they touch.
True, localizers are literally destroying anime. It is so hilarious. You can, if you're not watching a dub, if you're just watching a base normal sub, you hear someone say like 7 words, and the localizer says for shizzle. I mean, why? Why? No one's asking. The reason anime is popular in the West is because it is what it is. No one wants you to change it. But no, these ignorant people, these self-obsessed lunatics, they feel the need. They probably feel some kind of pain inside if they don't try to make everything about themselves and them the good guys who do good things. It is insane.
And now, Where Winds Meet has body types 1 and 2 instead of male and female.
Base.
I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, I had been really excited for this game, and I actually have been streaming it on the channel. I've been giving it a chance since it is a free-to-play title.
I am gonna play this at some point. I have not at this point. I'm still playing Ark.
It is very fun. Sure, it's not the most polished experience ever, but it's still got a lot to offer. The combat is quick, the bosses are cool, there's tons of different activities to do, and really, it is a good game. But I know the first major hurdle that a lot of people are going to face when they're making their character is the fact that male and female was changed to body type 1 and 2. I saw this.
By the way, there's probably a couple of people coping, seeding, and lying that, oh, it's not a big deal. It's not. It's just body type 1 and body type 2, not female and female. Well, the age-old dumb argument of, well, if it's not a big deal, then why change it at all? But the real big thing here is we know that people care about this. Like, there was a huge scandal about this when they did this to the Oblivion remaster. Everything else was fine, but they did this and everyone got pissed. Everyone was against it. So we know just doing this can literally lead to a game performing way worse than you would expect. Like, we are at the point where just people speculating that a game could be potentially woke, not even actually having like video proof or anything that it is woke, that can already damage a game. Because typically we're always right. And it doesn't matter how much these people cope and seed about these things. It doesn't matter how much they say, oh, actually having 10 players online after 2 days is a success. No one cares. Everyone knows you're lying. Everyone can see you're lying. Like, even the people that are not accustomed to it just look at this and say and be like, wait, you're telling me a game that costed 100 million to make and now has 1K concurrent players and is not even on Game Pass? It's not even on Game Pass. Is good? No, I'm not buying that. Everyone knows. No one's that stupid to believe your lies.
I, of course, was extremely disappointed in it, but some of my favorite games have this, like Elden Ring, for example. It's a phenomenal experience. The type 1 and 2 or A and B situation doesn't affect me playing a game if I'm excited in it, but
But Elden Ring did come out in a little bit of different of a time, though.
it is still something that needs to be called out because it's pretty dumb that it happened. And to top all that off, it was done by a vocalizer, somebody who constantly wants to push their own politics into a game, and they have no respect for the original material. And the Chinese version of the game does have male and female. The localized version does not anymore, and tons of people are calling it out, which I'm happy to see. Scratchpoint said the English localization of Where Winds Meet is the only version that changes male and female to type 1 and 2, displaying another example of localization unnecessarily changing something innocuous to align with the modern denial of reality in the West. I don't really know why these localizers are so hyper focused on changing male and female when they're just going to be called out for it and people are going to wreck them for it. Like, eventually, you have to admit it's
By the way, the fact that this has happened is kind of a indicator that more stuff like this can happen.
not worth the public humiliation, I would at least think. But I guess because they're so obsessed with their own personal brand of political activism, they just don't really care if they face backlash for it. And they probably should, given companies don't want to work with controversial figures that much anymore. That's why so many activists are being fired from this industry. Now, this is not confirmed officially, take it with a grain of salt, but we apparently know who the localizer is, and they are a localizer who worked on Honkai Star Rail, and they are extremely woke. I had never heard of them before, but their name is Brielle Acherhoff. They actually are tied to Rocket Sound, and they do original and localized dialogue. But this company, Rocket Sound, of course, promotes pride events, and this individual, Brielle, posts on their social media about rainbow flags and people with blue hair, as you can see on
Ah, yes, all the stuff that is very necessary in my games, obviously.
this profile. I mean, it's pretty intense. So, Rocket Sound is now another company to add to the list to always pay attention to. Yeah, had never heard of them before. They slipped through the cracks, but luckily, gamers are willing to call these people out and research until we actually get confirmation of who is messing up our products. Pirate Nation had posted about how you don't hate Western localizers enough, and then it shows the male and female versus body type 1 and 2. And it's just so sad that good games face controversy because of a few shit libs. These people cannot accept the fact that
True.
this is not a popular stance, that this is not a way to gain notoriety.
Well, that's the thing. There's no problem in their own opinions that that people don't accept this, because the whole point of wokeness is that it is by definition awakening of sorts. That if you are woke, you understand the world better and you understand what actually needs to happen, what is important, and what matters. So the fact that no one else agrees with them, kind of in a strange, twisted way, just proves in their own minds that they are right, because obviously they're really smart and blah 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 blah, you know, and they need to educate everyone else. So for them knowing that people don't like their stuff is not really that much of a deal, because they have already sold themselves on complete lunacy to begin with.
In the industry, and really all they're doing is severely damaging their image and their reputation by doing this. We've heard so many instances of localizers constantly pushing the limits. They make changes because they believe that it's for the better, and then they say, well, we don't want to make people uncomfortable when a game comes to our region, so we're going to change it because this won't hurt people's feelings. But
I cannot wait until AI does this.
then a product is sanitized to hell and back. And it really makes you wonder what else is altered in the game. There is
All of these problems started, by the way, when we stopped calling these people translators and started calling them localizers, because localization does not imply translation any longer. Localization implies that the product that you are working with is unfit for wherever it's supposed to be released, so it needs to be changed by definition.
a bit of censorship in the chat. Because again, this is made by a Chinese company. You can't say things like Tibet or Taiwan or Hong
Heresy.
Kong or Winnie the Pooh. You can't say idiot. You can't say retard. You can't say most of the normal swears. And that does suck. I think that that is very important to point out. But the gameplay itself is so good. The world is so rich. The bosses and their mechanics are really cool. And it has a lot going for it. And because it's free to play, I think a lot of people are willing to look past some of the issues that it has. But it is still important to know the type of company you are ultimately supporting. If you swipe your credit card or you think you want to invest a lot of time into this, and I'm glad gamers are furious at this. Savvy said, I'm going to crash out. Yeah, there's no reason to change from male and female to body type 1 and 2. It is ridiculous. Body type A, body type B, mental illness diagnosis, Western fat, feminist developers. Not a tear will be shed when Western localizers lose their jobs to AI. And I think that this is the major example that
Peace.
I am okay with for people losing their jobs. I generally say AI is a fine tool. I don't think that it should replace human beings, but when it comes to local
I think it should, okay? I am not under any of these fucking delusions, okay? I'll tell you the brutal truth, okay? But like the video before, because you're gonna not like the video after I say what I'm gonna say. The average worker is a fucking useless pile of garbage that cannot do anything right, anything on time, or even think for themselves, okay? That is the reality, okay? Your bosses have to deal with inept morons constantly. Okay? AI deserves to replace those people. The reality is it's like with art. AI is gonna replace the people who are barely capable of doing their job, and all of the good people, the actual talented people, they're gonna stay. AI is not gonna take a single job from a person who is actually capable.
localizers, I don't think anybody's really going to shed a tear. Now, the issue you face with localizers versus AI is that AI can, of course, follow a prompt that says, hey, take this general story or this general dialogue and add diversity to it, or how can I improve diversity, equity, and inclusion in this story and alter the dialogue that way, or whatever prompt you want to enter. And so it
Xbox, turn on. I wonder if that worked.
can be just as woke, if not more woke, than these people. What we're gonna see in the coming months, and I would put money on this. What we're gonna see is we're going to see one of these localizers or developers or feminists become a mega shitlord by not only their politics, but also them using AI to enhance their politics and then putting this absolute pile of slop into a game. We are going to see the wokest game possible, and it's going to be attributed to AI. I would
Waste.
bet on that. Now the question is, which localizer team did this? Did NetEase outsource it? And yes, it does seem that it was done by Rocket Sound. Again, there's no like official confirmation of that, but there are ties to this person and Rocket Sound. Game is non-binary then. This is openly hated by people that buy video games. Why is this still going on? And maybe the developers are really just doing what a lot of Japanese devs do, and that is basically putting all of their trust and faith into these localizers to do a good job, and then they don't really double check. They don't hire somebody else to look over that work because it would cost more money. Who really knows? Either way, it's not a good look. And Where Winds Meet has such gorgeous characters, awesome costumes and outfits. It has
True.
a lot of good content, but man, is it hard to want to sit here and support a game that features something like this. Report the bug, make it too big to ignore. Yeah, I mean, there's always ways to voice online how you're feeling when they ask in questionnaires. If you have any follow up comments to make, leave them there. There is luckily a lot of ways to fight back, but there are also a lot of other good games on the market. So if you don't want to download this, even if it's free, you definitely don't have to. Yes, I do. Yeah, this was extremely disappointing. I hope they fix it, and I do too. I hope that they listen to feedback.
We can hope. We can hope. Maybe it happens. But, I mean, it should happen because if it's a Chinese game in general, China does have sway with the person that's handling it in the West to actually change these things. But the question is always, does China actually care that the West is becoming woke? The answer is no. They actually kind of do support this. Now, first comes money, but then comes the support for it. Because well, the weaker the West, the better it is for good old China to do things. And I mean, logic checks out. Pretty simple. If your opponent is weak, that's a good thing. So it's not. China would have to be losing a lot of money for them to actually care and change this. Otherwise, I don't think it's happening. I don't think it's in general happening because now, yeah, I don't believe this. In any case, that was Mommy Ver 10 out of 10. Bye!